Hello, everyone. I'm here with Stacey from Prime TSR. We're going to talk about all things B2B marketing, her persona of leadership, how she grew into the space, the future of B2B marketing, where Prime TSR is going. And it's going to be all this fun stuff and amazingness right here, right now. Stacey, thank you for showing up. And would you be so kind to articulate who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me, Troy. So my name is Stacey Doherty. I am VP of Marketing and Business Development at Prime TSR. Prime TSR is a boutique cloud consultancy based out of Chicago, Illinois. We help companies with cloud computing, and we work with several cloud partners to bring them into the cloud.
How long have you been with Prime TSR, if I may ask?
So I have been here a little over a year and a half.
What's exciting you about right now at Prime TSR with what you're working on? Anything that's exciting that's going on right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement because we have come a really, really long way with our marketing strategy and getting our voice and our brand out there. So that's been really exciting for one. And for two, we're really kind of growing and elevating in our service offerings and our solutions for companies. Instead of going to market and having all of these services to kind of offer somebody or kind of throw out there, we're actually coming up with true business solutions that solve challenges that they're facing. So kind of using technology to address, problems or challenges in their business.
I
Which is
love
super
that.
exciting. Yeah.
It's amazing how just a slight change of words changes the whole dynamic of the experience, going from a plethora of services
Yes.
to key specific solutions,
Yes.
result driven, all about growth, all about making those moves. It's
Yep.
genius. It's brilliant. I'd
Yep.
love to, if you don't mind, to unpack that further. So,
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, a lot has changed, obviously, especially in the B2B space. You've seen people saying it's more B2C now, even in the B2B space.
Right.
If I may ask, what say you? What have been the key changes that you have incorporated since the pandemic?
I started here during the pandemic, so I've kind of like been growing with this business. And like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of sophisticated, marketing and business development happening at that time. So we've been kind of evolving and building on that. And, I have to say, it's been super exciting coming into this space. This is my first time kind of being in the true tech world. Prior to this, I was in professional services. So I was part of the consulting world, but not true technology. So to see how many businesses truly need our help and can really use our help, and the pandemic really kind of made that even more, prominent and kind of made it more something that they needed. And our business had our most successful year during the pandemic. I mean, we doubled in revenue and headcount in that year, which is remarkable. It was our largest growth year yet, which is pretty cool. So that's been really great. So it's just been really exciting to kind of see the growth, and we're building our relationships with our cloud partners, which is really cool too. When I started, we were just getting going with AWS, and now we're finally starting to see the results of all of our efforts, and we're getting actual referrals and business from them, which is super exciting to see because it takes a while to build that relationship and that trust. And so we're kind of at that point now where we're finally, seeing the results of all that effort.
Speaking of AWS, you were recently at AWS reInvent.
I
So
was.
how was it to be at the event? Was there anything that stood out or was a takeaway? How was it? How was your time at the event?
Yeah, it was super cool. It was my first time attending that event. Huge event, although I heard it was like a third of the size that it normally is, and I still thought it was huge, in its current state. But it was exciting to see the energy and to hear everyone talk about all of the cool things. I mean, the thing about AWS is they're constantly reinventing themselves and coming out with these new innovative solutions and services and ways to just make technology better, more efficient. So, one of the keynotes of the CEO of AWS, he was talking and announcing and getting super excited about all of these new things that they're offering kind of in the coming year. And the crowd is cheering and getting super excited and pumped up about all of this cool new stuff that they're doing. So it only benefits us, right, as a partner, is that we get to kind of utilize and kind of, take advantage of all of the things that they're coming out with.
I love the energy and the passion. I'm like, I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm there. Thinking about it, and you're seeing maybe other brands that are positioning themselves and obviously going through similar situations that you're at reInvent. Did any language or new ideas spark at the event that you're like, not that you gotta tell us all the tea, but anything that sparked that's like, I might bring back to the team and figure out maybe we can apply this or make some modifications here or there?
Yeah, one thing that came out is that they, kind of announced that the huge focus area going into 2022 is going to be around data and analytics and AI and ML. So data and analytics is a huge strength of Prime TSR. We're actually running a campaign on it now, and we plan to take it into 2021. And we have several great, use cases and things that, we can help companies identify how they can better their data and their analytics structure. And the part that was a good takeaway for me that was kind of repeated over and over again was this whole AI and ML piece. We're looking to get into more machine learning and, kind of get more innovative with that side of our business. And so this kind of gave me the push as to like, yeah, that's the right direction to go. Like we should do that, invest in that, and kind of come up with some cool use cases and solution offerings around it. I mean, we've dabbled in it as a company, and a lot of the data solutions have that AI piece of it. But I think even taking it to the next level. So I think reInvent kind of confirmed what we were already thinking was this is a good path for us to go.
And segueing from reInvent, I hear you're a big Brene Brown fan. And so I have a quote here I want to read really quick. It's called "Leaders must either invest a reasonable amount of time attending to fears and feelings, or squander an unreasonable amount of time trying to manage ineffective and unproductive behavior." So, two-part question. One, what does Brene Brown mean to you? Does anything resonate on that front? And then two, how have you seen yourself throughout your career cultivate yourself into the dynamic leader that you are today?
Yeah. What I love about her is you can take what she says and apply it both to your personal life, right? As well as your professional life. And so I kind of like, I have like two, when I consume what she's saying and I listen to her, I kind of like apply it both ways. And so I love what she talks a lot about, like vulnerability. And I think that in being a leader, you have to be vulnerable and you have to be, kind of put yourself in the shoes of your team and understand like what their challenges are and what their problems might be and how you might be able to help them just be better. And I think that kind of goes for on your personal side and your professional side. And just kind of the whole issue of fear that you mentioned too. I actually was I had to go out of town this weekend and I was listening to a podcast of hers, and she was talking with somebody else, Glennon Doyle. I don't know if you've heard of Glennon Doyle, but I love her too. But they were talking about fear and managing fear and how it can be so debilitating in so many areas of your life. And if you feel something in your heart that you want to move forward with something, to try not to let fear take over and really understand that that's the path you're supposed to take. So like I said, it can go on your personal side as well as your professional side, but there's a lot of takeaways that I get from her for sure.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it all. you know, I love the fact how you articulated fear and vulnerability. And I think one is definitely one to address in leadership as you're growing, developing, but also with our clients.
Yeah. Oh,
They look at it and they're like, I'm trusting you with this amount of money, with this amount of effort, bringing on your team to help us achieve this results. And we can never 1000% guarantee anything,
right?
But it's kind of like investments. It's the right thing to do. It's going to take time. It's volatile over time. But hey, just trust us. We're going to help you figure this out. How have you been able to position yourself with your team regarding your clients on how to kind of handle some of that fear and confrontation they may have built up inside before they get to work with you all?
Yeah, no, that is a really great kind of pivot point with the whole fear concept. Is there's definitely that fear within our clients of, we're going through that right now. We're kind of going through a company refresh of our brand and our messaging. And we're not changing anything big, but we're just changing maybe how we talk about things. And so one of the things that we always say is you don't have to take your applications, your legacy applications, and do everything all at once. You don't have to like get rid of everything that you have and create all of this new technology. You can simply kind of take little bite-sized pieces of it and modernize that and kind of still be more efficient in what you're doing. So it's kind of baby step approach. And so it kind of takes that fear factor a little bit out of the equation because you're kind of able to start small and kind of get used to it and see that it's, doing well for your business and kind of make it bigger from there. So that's kind of part of the messaging that I've been working on with my team. Especially the ones that are business development representatives that are very actively talking to prospects and talking to companies and trying to help them get over that fear is that, it's not so scary, right? Everyone can kind of do this.
And I know you understand this too. The B2B market space, when we talk about growth, sometimes people are just so focused on the numbers, right? Like just unequivocally numbers only. That's it. And I love how you're delivering it in such a way where we're trying to help you understand. Data and analytics are part of the key to success. To make sure our OKRs are great, our KPIs are great, we're moving in the right trajectory and path. But it also comes with a hint of storytelling and a hint of understanding how do I connect the data into the bigger roadmap, the bigger picture of how we move along this journey with the customer from where we started, all the bumps on the way, going through pandemic, everything else, and then on the other side of it, where we all just relish in the success. And with that, part of that is, leading a high performing team. There's a lot of things involved, and you having the title that you are, doing amazing things that you're doing. I can't imagine the all the stuff that you have to manage on a day-to-day basis. But if you could kind of sum that down, how do you manage a high-performing team, and what does a high-performing team look like for you?
It takes a while to get there, honestly. And so here I was kind of the first member of this team, right? And so we had to kind of build, to where we are today. And I feel like while I bring, couple decades of experience to the table, I feel like I'm only as good as my team, right? And how, making sure that they're coached and that they understand the big picture of the business too. I feel like so many team members get so inundated with just the role and what they're doing on that day that I feel like once they kind of understand the bigger picture of the business and what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to get, I feel like they change their mindset a little bit because now they know what they're working towards. And it's not just about like the tasks of the day. It's kind of a bigger strategy in place. So I think that's kind of what, I've been trying to instill here within my team is just understanding the bigger picture strategy, actually being a part of developing that strategy and empowering them to grow in their role. That's my team has been fantastic in that way. It just kind of seeing maybe, because we were kind of functioning like a startup, right? We didn't have like the structure and everything in place. So we've had to put a lot of processes in place. So, many members of my team where they see a gap or they see something not working, they'll just take initiative and do what they can to fix it. And then they'll come say, hey, Stacey, I did this. What do you think? And I'm like, it's fantastic. So it's kind of just giving them the power to feel that they can make a change and make things better and kind of grow with it. So that's the exciting part about being in a business of where we're at today, kind of this growth mode, is that we have the ability to build this.
Ooh, just snapping my fingers, y'all. Just snapping my fingers. That was amazing. That was beautiful. I love what you brought across. And again, I think sometimes when you can emit the passion and the conviction and the confidence that you believe in yourself as a leader and your team and as your company to your clients, to those your prospects, they can feel that, they believe that. And I think sometimes what we have seen a lot is that B2Bs in totality are really embracing more storytelling. And what I love that you brought up how your team, as you're building the foundation, you're building the process, you're in the weeds, you're in the nick of it, that they're also feeling they're a part of it. And that's a key thing with growth too. They know your tendencies, they know how you see the world and how you see certain things. And as they learn and grow and evolve, they're just more efficient. They're just more optimizing your processes. You can almost make a glance at the person and they just know what to do. And so I love how you brought that home. What's something that you recognize or you acknowledge that maybe people have a misconception about how you and how the team does certain things in the B2B space?
So that's something that changed when I joined Prime TSR is that we decided to pivot our approach a little bit on who we were targeting. Historically, the company has primarily gone after more technical roles, and we're highly technical in our content, right? So I mentioned we kind of made that flip of going to more true business solutions and business issues and kind of elevating the conversation a little bit. And so one area that one campaign that we did and one area of focus that we talk to our clients about quite a bit that I love is the area of customer experience. So elevating your customer journey, your customer experience, and how technology can help you do that. And so that's one area that my whole team has been able to get around because not only you don't have to be a super technical person to understand what it means to have a good customer experience. We are consumers, so we want a good customer experience with our insurance company, our healthcare, our doctors that we go to. We just want a good experience, so we know what that means and how important that is. So I feel like that's a really good conversation to have with business leaders to help them understand what it is we do. So now, in order to give your customer a better experience, let us take your data and make a more kind of streamlined, let's streamline your data so that it's much easier for them to, get online and look at their accounts, or from their mobile phone to actually pull up their account. And it's the same thing they're looking at on their PC, to kind of just really make it all about them and make it a really good experience. And that will help you grow and be more successful.
When we think back to how B2B and marketing space communicates, video, long form, short form content, social audio, whether it's Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces, all these different things are coming involved, TikTok. I mean, all of it's emerging since the pandemic and we're making shifts. But I think what you brought up is just that core consistency of presenting those solutions. I'm really want to focus in on that because that's key. I think that changes the whole dynamic of everything in language. You mentioned, you've gone through a slight soft update, you're making some modifications, you're still in the weeds on the foundation. How have you incorporated, if I can go a little bit deeper in that language aspect, maybe even internally amongst your team and even externally among your current existing client base and your potential client base you hope to bring on board soon? How does that language have changed since then?
Yeah, I think it's been all about trying to find what makes us different and how we can help our clients, right? So there's a lot of companies that do what we do. I mean, let's just be real. And so it's finding what's unique about you and what you bring to the table to help the clients. So we've been hyper focused on that and have done all kinds of, brainstorming, whiteboarding sessions to really get to the root of what we feel that is. And so, we kind of came to the conclusion that it's our senior level team. It's the fact that we move very quickly. So working with a much larger company, your Deloitte's, Accentures of the world, who do what we do, sometimes it can take a while to kind of get stuff done. And so we don't function that way. Like, we come to the table, we don't even necessarily provide you an assessment. Like, we're kind of working with you and helping solve your problem, like, from day one. And so that's really our value proposition. So it's kind of taking that, like what we know, and transforming that into our language and how we talk every day and how everyone within our company talks. Like, what is the Prime TSR difference, right? What can we promise our customers that maybe others don't promise in the same way? So that's really what's changed.
Thinking of the Prime TSR difference, it sounds great. What would be the one word you would describe that difference going into 2022? What would be that word?
Reimagined. Well, and you know why? TSR stands for Technology Solutions Reimagined. And so I feel like we're trying to really get at what that means. And so I feel like it's reimagining your technology and what it could be. So like that whole digital transformation 2.0, like taking it to the next level.
Imagination, all the people. Love it. Reimagination. And don't a lot of businesses and clientele need that right now?
Right. Absolutely.
The whole reinvention, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess my last question I would ask, was this something else you want to expound on further? And people do predictions all the time. They want to say it in the sand, but in your core belief of what where you see Prime TSR, where you see your team, where you see the industry moving, what is your hope or expectation you see if we fast forward to this time in 2022? What's your hope and expectation for Prime TSR and your specific department?
Yeah, I want to see my department actually being responsible for securing some great new logos for the firm. At the end of the day, that's what I want, in growing the relationship within AWS. And so it's kind of helping acquire new clients and helping grow the relationship with AWS would be huge for my team. So, historically, the firm has grown by, word of mouth referrals. So I really want to take it to the next level where not only are we doing great things with the brand and getting our name out there and trying to kind of grow in our solution offerings, but I want to actually see us help acquire new clients at the end of the day, the bottom line.